Welcome to Between Two Perns. My name is Jackson Dickert, and I'm here with best-selling author Charlie Holmberg. How's it going, Charles?
It's going pretty well today.
Cool. You're an author of romantasy.
I am. I do romantasy and a few other things.
That's very cool. Right off the bat, I want to apologize to everyone watching this video. Charlie is very pale, so I'm going to do my best to color correct everything and make sure everything comes out looking okay. Now, Charlie, you're published in more than 20 languages.
I am, yes.
How did you learn to write in so many languages?
A lot of schooling.
That's not the only skill you have. I heard you can play the ukulele.
Ish.
That is so quirky.
I believe that there is more adventure in a single imagination than all four corners of the world.
In one of your posts online, you said that you were a mediocre musician. Your words, not mine.
Yeah, I have a lot of broadness and not a lot of depth.
Sure.
Yes.
What is that like? Like, how do you cope with being both a mediocre musician and a mediocre author?
Well, you probably have more experience with that than I do.
Your books have been popular for years.
Thanks.
There's been a massive interest in romantic fantasy recently, though. Have you seen your book sales surge as a result of this?
They're actually, yeah, now thinking about it, they have been up a little bit this year.
Good.
So that's nice.
Glad to hear it. In one of your most popular books, Paper Magician, you've got a paper-based magic system.
Yes.
Something about origami or something?
Something like that.
Okay. It seems like the real paper-based magic system here is just writing romantasy, because you put words on paper and then people exchange that for green paper that lets them buy cool stuff. Mm-hmm. So because you've had such a massive increase in book sales, I was wondering, how many dollars do you have?
Like physical dollars on me?
No, just total number of dollars.
Probably more than you.
That's probably true. Yeah, I've only got the one book and like not that many people buy it compared to you, so yeah, I probably don't have as many dollars as you have.
Yeah, you're also not at the booth for your real job right now.
Neither are you.
I don't need to be.
Boom. Roasted.
You must have a decent number of dollars, though, because The Paper Magician was optioned for the big screen by Disney.
It was.
It had a script, a producer, a director, and they dropped it because of COVID. But it seems more likely that they just dropped it because it wasn't very good.
You know, I actually think it was cursed.
Really?
Yeah, the first producer passed away.
It was so bad that that they passed away.
No, it was so good.
Oh.
They passed away.
If it was so good, then it makes me wonder why they wouldn't produce it, because Disney continued to pump out objectively bad shows for the last few years, like She-Hulk, Willow, Secret Invasion. All these shows scored below a 50% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So that must mean that The Paper Magician was pretty bad if those terrible shows got made instead of yours.
You know, I think right now in this saga of Disney, if it was a sequel to something, it would probably be made into a movie, but because it's something original, it's just not their flavor right now.
At least you got dollars out of it, though.
I did get some dollars out of it.
That's good. You know what my favorite Disney movie is, though? Frozen.
No.
It's great. I love the movie Frozen. Such a cool and original idea. Like you were saying, you know, like original ideas are what's important. And you know, it's got a teenage girl who becomes cursed, and eventually everything she touches is covered in, you know, frost or ice. And then eventually there's like a man who wants to marry into the family, who kind of comes along and starts a campaign against her, forcing her to flee into the hills. And then, you know, while Elsa is there, she begins a friendship with magical creatures who try to help her through like what's going on. It's a great film.
It's okay.
You don't like it?
It's okay. I like the sequel. Surprisingly, I like the sequel better.
Oh, okay. Wait, this is kind of ringing like a bell for me.
I wrote Followed by Frost before Frozen came out, just to let you know. I know that's where you're going.
Okay. You wrote Followed by Frost, which is about a teenage girl who gets frost powers and...
She gets a frost curse.
Okay.
She doesn't have powers. The magic makes sense in my book, unlike in the movie. She cannot just randomly make sentient life.
Elsa was cursed though too, right?
She was cursed until she went out into the wild, and then all of a sudden she could stamp her foot and make a palace, despite having no practice for the last 10 years of her life.
Yeah, you sound a little bitter right now, like for someone who's so confident that they had the idea first.
The ideas are very different. The aesthetic is similar, though.
Okay, similar, identical. I mean, I guess it's like.
You know, if you had done your research and read my books before this, then you would know.
I only read the good books.
Ouch.
It's true.
If only you only wrote the good books too.
Emotional damage.
Would you say that it's important to be well and widely read in order to be a good writer?
Yes.
Okay. Then why haven't you read The Lord of the Rings, The Chronicles of Narnia, or Harry Potter?
I have read the first Chronicles of Narnia, and I read the first 3 1/4 Harry Potter books. And then I tried to read The Hobbit when I was 13, and I was bored, yes. It wasn't my cup of tea at the time.
It just seemed like if you really wanted to be a good writer, that you could make the time to read these massively popular IPs and kind of deconstruct them and figure out why people like them so much.
Well, if you wanted to be a good interviewer, you would have read my log and figured out why people like me so much.
Bazinga.
You were pretty obsessed with anime.
Very much so.
You wrote a 500,000 word fan fiction online for Fushigi Yugi.
I did.
That's incredible. Did you find that helpful to your writing career?
Well, they say your first million words suck, so I got my first million out on fan fiction.
Cool. I've got some connections in the fan fiction
If you
world,
found that, I will be super impressed.
who have graciously given me access to your fan fiction, which I have now stored in a secure offline device so that it can't be taken down. How many dollars are you willing to pay me if I agree to not put a link to a PDF where everyone can read this fan fiction?
I'm not convinced that you found it.
Are you interested in calling my bluff then, or are you interested?
Tell me what the title of it is.
I don't need to prove anything to you. I am the one in power right now, and I need you to offer me a dollar amount.
I'm not paying you anything because I don't think you have it.
All right. Guess we'll just have to see then.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get
500,000 words is a ton of writing.
It is.
It's no wonder that you had the chops to take Brandon Sanderson's class by the time you were done with that. But you didn't just take it once, you took it twice.
I did.
What was that like?
It was great. The first time I was able to get in the original 15. If you're in the original class, you actually get feedback from him, which was great. And then the second time I audited it, and I found a really long-lasting writing group there. And so I was able to attend the lectures and still go to a writing group afterwards.
Okay. I guess it must not have been a very good class since you had to take it twice. Does the repetition reflect more on you as a poor student or Brandon Sanderson as a poor teacher?
I think that there's something different taught a little bit every time. The first time I was working on craft, and the second time I was working on the professional aspect of it, like queries and such.
Okay. So you as a poor student because you weren't able to do it all at once the first time.
Oh, I think I was a good student because I did it till I got it.
Your first book, The Paper Magician,
Yes.
it's all about a romance between a teacher and a student with a significant age gap.
Eventually it is about the romance, yes.
Seeing as you took Brandon's class twice, and that this was a book you published shortly after graduating, I was wondering if you had a longtime crush on Brandon Sanderson, and if those feelings might still be there.
You know, Dan Wells is more my type.
Be awesome. If you've read The Lost Metal and you trashed it on Goodreads, please come talk to me.
I've noticed that there is a lot of significant age gaps in your romance
Yes.
novels. But that's not the kink that I'm interested in discussing here. In your book, Starmother, the sun god chooses a village that must provide a mortal womb for his child, and the mother never survives the pregnancy.
Yes.
The main character volunteers as tribute, Hunger Games style, to be the woman who has to have sex with the sun and have its baby. So my question is, what the
What? Some people are into that.
And I'm not shaming anybody who, I mean, the sun is it's very hot. I think we can all agree.
Very literally hot, yes.
Yeah, but do you have any thoughts, what do you have to say for yourself?
Well, if you're asking, did happen, it did. Do you know what that is?
They really just cover like the basics in Tennessee.
Okay.
They just tell you not to do it, and then we don't get much further past that. So.
Okay, we'll talk after.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Where in the world did you get the ideas for these stories?
For Starmother, weirdly enough, it was super random. I saw the cover for another book by Kim Roth, and it was called God of the Sun. And it was the original cover, which you can't really find anymore, and it was just the back of a woman's head. And I saw that in God of the Sun, and for some reason the first line of Starmother just popped into my head. And it was, I thought making love with the sun would be the worst pain I'd ever experienced, but giving birth to his child was far worse. And I just was fascinated with that, and I wanted to figure out what her story was.
I'm fascinated by that too.
Thanks.
I was curious about the origin for one of your other stories in particular. The Will in the Wilds, in which the protagonist is attacked by a misting, which is sort of like a fae-like creature.
Yeah, like a fae demon kind of creature.
Who wants to kill her for an enchanted stone. She fights back by trading another misting a kiss, which gets them into all sorts of trouble and sends them off on their adventure, where they eventually begin a romance.
More or less. She doesn't trade a kiss. He wants one, but she
Gotcha.
doesn't give it to him.
Okay. I heard a rumor about this book's origins that I was curious about. Is it true that you got the idea for this story after you had a dream about kissing a phallic unicorn man, and that when you would be intimate with the phallic unicorn man, his horn would grow in what sounded like a very erotic and Pinocchio-esque fashion?
Part of that is true. It did come from a dream. I was more of a third party, like, eavesdropper, which makes it sound creepy.
You were a voyeur.
A voyeur. In my dream, that's going to be on the title, isn't it? Charlie Holmberg voyeur.
You think it should be?
No, in my dream, Elena Johnson was my mom. I don't remember that. But yeah, there was this guy with a unicorn horn, but he had lost it and he needed to get it back. And the only way to get it back was to take the virginity of a maiden. And the way that it sounds awful, nothing ever happened in the dream, but for something about that dream really, really stuck to me. But I am a clean author, so I took the maidenhood out of it and I just made it about kissing instead. Okay. And it's not about his horn in the book, but he does have a horn in the book.
So it's a little bit about the horn in the book.
Maybe
if you're in the
bit.
know.
If you're in the know.
Yeah. See, I'm a real fan.
Yeah.
You must have a lot of dreams like this, where like you fall in love with a monster or you witness someone else fall in love with a monster. Okay. But you wrote The Hanging City, which is a romance between a human and a troll.
Not based off of a dream, though.
Okay. So it must be more rooted in reality, and the relationship is like a parallel between you and your husband.
The Hanging City, it was written as a response to another book that I read.
Okay.
That was advertised as a troll romance, but it was not. And I thought, I'm going to write a real troll romance. And that's where that idea came from.
Wow. So if you had to pick between you and your husband for one to be the human and one to be the troll, who would you?
He would be the troll.
That's interesting, because I thought that actually you would be the troll instead of your husband. I read online that your husband had zero interest in going out with you. that he would not give you the time of day, and you had to pursue him for 5 whole years.
6 years.
6 years before he would. There's definitely a way to make that sound romantic, but I have it on good authority that it was anything but. And it sounds like it was more like borderline stalking.
Not really. He wasn't even in the country for part of it.
Yeah, you wrote a dozen letters.
Over 2 years. It's not bad.
Well, you wrote a dozen letters while he was abroad, and he wrote back 1 time.
3 times.
3 times.
If you count emails.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm going to count emails here. So he wrote back 1 time.
On physical letter, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Have you gotten better at taking a hint since then, or did the fact that you managed to bully your now husband into marry you only reinforce that you can harass people until you get what you want?
No, by the time he got back, I got hot, and so it wasn't hard anymore.
Okay. So I guess while you still weren't hot, or once you became hot, which one did these happen? You ding-dong ditched his house.
Yeah.
Was that hot or not hot?
That was entertaining.
Well, but was it before you were hot or after?
That was definitely before I was hot.
Okay. And then you put ramen in his yard. Was that also before?
Yes.
Okay.
These were all high school
Okay.
things.
And then you pied him in the face?
My friend pied him in the face.
Okay, that's not the story I heard. How does somebody who has no idea how to flirt end up making a living writing romance novels?
I accepted who I was. I didn't read a lot of romance in high school and in college because I was convinced I was going to be alone. And it made me sad. But then I realized that I was hot stuff, and then I started reading them, and then I started writing them.
And now, here we are today, against all odds. You and your very charming husband have created a life together and started a family. One of the members of your family, though, sounds like he's really been through the ringer.
Oh.
You have a ginger cat, which you described as 85% of a cat due to him missing his tail, teeth, and testicles, in addition to not having his original anus.
Yes, that is true.
Are you using your cat as an example of what you'll do to your husband if he's ever unfaithful?
I mean, that is a good example of what I would do to him. He knows I would destroy him if he ever left me.
Okay.
But the injuries to my cat happened before I adopted him.
Charlie, you took Brandon Sanderson's class, and so I'm guessing he sort of taught you everything, that he knows about the ways to write efficiently.
Basics, yeah.
Okay. Brandon told me that the best way to write quickly is to tie helium balloons to your fingers, and that the helium makes your fingers lighter, and that then you'll be able to write faster. So are you interested in participating in an experiment to figure out if Brandon was telling the truth, or if he might be gatekeeping other writing tools that might help?
My hypothesis is that that's BS.
So you think Brandon Sanderson is a liar?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You want to find out?
Sure.
Fantastic. Do a round and we'll see how you do. Yeah.
Good, jeez. I didn't do very good on that one.
You didn't do very good?
No, I did this before and I got 101,
Okay. How many did you
but I'm
get?
nervous. I only got 68 this
You
time.
got 68. Okay, well, we'll see if you improve or not with the balloons.
Okay. I only got 72.
You got 72.
Yep.
You're kidding. There might be something to this.
There might be something.
Maybe he's not a liar. Charlie, thank you so much for participating in this experiment. I think we're taking big leaps and bounds towards helping writers find the best tools to help them write faster. So
You're welcome.
really appreciate it. Charlie, I only have one more question.
Shoot.
You brag everywhere that you get the chance online about your obsession with glasses. You have something around 80 pairs of glasses?
I've probably had 80 pairs of glasses. Right now, I think I have like 14 or 15.
Maybe if you get enough pairs, then you can have the foresight to sign your movie rights over to a studio that's actually interested in making your movie.
Maybe if you get a pair, you'll actually write a good book.
I have been lying, and it is time for me to admit the truth.